My name's Charla, and on my channel I want to share with you the things I'm doing to create a self-sufficient life and learn the old ways of doing things. So I mentioned in my first video yesterday or day before that this book, I had given it away, so my new one came in, and I wanted to give a shout out about the book and then tell you some things that I've got going today to get toward the steps of living that life. But this is The One Straw Revolution by Masanobu Fukuoka. I forgot it's a really old book. It's a Japanese farmer that says, instead of doing more, what could I do to do less? And so he played with nature of intermingling things like you just he didn't do things a traditional way of farming. And to me, I think he's probably like the grandfather maybe of permaculture or regenerative farming maybe. But to me, permaculture, is so windy. I hope you can hear me and my phone doesn't blow over. Anyway, I kind of tried some of it last year, but like I said, my Bermuda grass and my Johnson grass just took over. I didn't tend it well enough. So I think you do have to get it to a certain spot, and I think that's part of permaculture, is your different stories, your trees, and how they build down to the ground cover. And I don't have that in place for what I tried last year. Anyway, but it was kind of fun to go out in the grass, sort of. Long after the garden was kept up, and I still have tomatoes going into the fall. You just had to dig for them. That wasn't really, ideal, to be honest with you, but I think I know what he's getting at. I think I know the whole food forest thing. Like, I get it. I want that. I just don't have that yet. So this is my journey. So what a line that he also says in here is that the ultimate goal of farming isn't the growing of crops, but the cultivation of a human being. And I think that's why I've always wanted a simple life. I grew up with family that farmed, and they grew up during the Depression, and so they had to learn how to do everything, how to build stuff. They were so intelligent; they could build anything. They grew their own food a lot, and they raised their own beef, and they tried different things through the years. But of course, they grew up during the horse and buggy times, and then the Model Ts and all that stuff. So when tractors and commercial fertilizer came along, that allowed them to get bigger, right? And my dad, he passed away in 2005, I believe. So it's been a long time, but he was so proud of his hay, and even though they did farm on the big scale and big monocrops that now there's so many that's like, oh, but look what we're not building the soil. And I get that. Like, I wish Dad was here though. He would probably argue with me and say, you can't feed the world with organic ways or permaculture ways. I don't know what he would say, but I might have had to convince him a little bit. But I'm going to try it, because I believe in building up the earth and building your soil instead of doing it with chemicals. What else? So I would highly recommend the book, even though, like I said it yesterday, is that it might not apply everything that he's growing to Oklahoma, or even in the United States. Zone 7's where I'm at. But his ideas are really worth checking out. Speaking of not wanting to simplify and stuff. So behind me, it looks a mess. This is what I'm dealing with. So all of this grass back here, Bermuda grass, Johnson grass, there's some old peach trees back here. This bed here looked like those over there yesterday. And so I did have to mow and till it. And the reason why, they were my old raised beds from over 20 years ago. And I just got to get them back. So I don't know if you've ever had Bermuda grass before, but it is, I don't know how to get rid of it. So I bought this tarp, weed barrier landscape fabric. I seen it, I think, on Charles Dowding's no dig methods, but he planted some potatoes, well, no dig, and then he had one bed that he did where he put the mulch on top, and then the weed barrier on top of that, and then just poked a hoe and put the potatoes underneath that. And because I'm wanting to grow my own food for a year, I have 32 pounds of potatoes I cut up last night and this morning. And so they've kind of dried over their skin. I think that you're supposed to let them dry out for 24 hours. I cut them into little pieces to make, each little piece has a little eye on it. So I chit them. I guess that's what you call chit the potatoes. And so these are red potatoes that I got at the local grocery store, and I forgot their name. Minnesota, something, I don't know. And then the other ones that I have are Kennebec and Red Norland. And in the past, if I've grown potatoes, I didn't pay attention to the names or anything. But this year, because I'm doing an experiment, I'm going to document things. The landscape fabrics, there's 2 of them, and they're 50 foot long. And my bed is 4 foot by 50 foot, and I have 3 of them that I've got to clean up and get back. But so I think I will put these in this bed and use the landscape fabric. And I think because I'm experimenting, it's a little scary because I want to make it my first year with my potatoes. And so I'm experimenting with the landscape fabric. We'll see how it goes. So I have 35 of determinate potatoes already cut up, ready to go. And then I'm going to get another 35 pounds probably of indeterminate, and those, and some that will be a fall crop that come later in the year. And so that's my plan on the potatoes. And then let's see, I also bought some carrots packages, some seeds. So if I get time today, I will have 35 pounds of potatoes hopefully planted, and I will try to plant out my carrots, if not sometime this week. But yeah, it'll be neat to see before, and then we'll kind of see how it goes. I'll share with you how it's going. If that sounds okay with you, we'll come back and check me out a little later and see how it's going. I'm excited. I get the potatoes planted today, mow the middle bed maybe, and till it. I don't know if I'll get it all done. I teach, so I have to get my lessons planned. I have to get my lessons ready to go for tomorrow too. Most of it's done, but I create Waldorf inspired, even though I teach in the Oklahoma public school. I'm really highly inspired by the Waldorf approach. If you're interested in knowing how I do main lesson books with meeting the Oklahoma State standards or the science standards for 4th and 5th grades, well, let me know in the comments below, because my kids make these really cute, make their own little books with all the hands-on science and things we're learning throughout the year, and maybe someday I can share that too. Oh, and so on my next video, I want to hopefully be able to show you a pattern. Well, I love to knit, and I'm working on a pattern for a little lamb, and maybe I can show that to you, or at least the progress, the works in progress. One of these days I'll do a everything I've knitted video too. For the last 7 years I've been teaching myself to knit. Oh, and in science class right now we're studying astronomy, so that just goes and ties right in with learning about how our world works and learning the night sky, and like our ancestors did. Like, I want to learn everything and be knowledgeable about everything that our ancient ancestors knew. And be able to survive if I had to. And I mean, there's just so many things that we don't know anymore, and I don't want to come to the end of my life and not have learned those things. And I hope to get to pass them on, like I said, to my children and my grandchildren. Wouldn't that be fun? All right, well, I will see you next time. Thanks for stopping by and giving me your time. See you.